Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe, and we're here continuing featuring some of the top MCQs, so Mythic Championship decks from this past weekend. So up today we have the winning deck list. It is a Jund Sacrifice, so Jund Cat Oven, Jund Korvold, couple different names, red, black, and green deck. So this was from Canister, who won the whole tournament. I've been playing this a bit today. It's a really fun deck. It's very grindy, so if you like aristocrat style decks, grind them out value wise, this certainly is a fun deck. So walk you through really quick. So the core of the deck is the Cauldron Familiar Oven combo. Sack it, get a food token, bring it back. At this point you're probably very familiar with it. You also have the value engine of Gilded Goose, making food tokens, which you can sack to pay the 1 mana for Trail of Crumbs to draw permanents out of your deck. So basically everything in our main board except Casualties of War. 2 Brontodon's main as disruption in conjunction with 2 Murderous Riders as removal. You have your 4 Mayhem Devils, which is a stalwart of sacrifice themed decks. Ping 1 damage per each sacrifice, either you or your opponent. Then on the 5 drops, you have 2 Massacre Girls. It works really well with all these cheap recursive creatures. It's a board wipe that generally will leave you with a 4/4. And then 2 Korvold Fae-Cursed King. This is a very powerful creature. When it enters the battlefield, you sack a permanent. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, you put a 1/1 counter on Korvold and draw a card. So you can make this very big in one turn. You can draw a lot of cards with it. So it's quite a powerful effect. The innovation that Canister had was 3 Beanstalk Giants. This takes you from 3 mana to 5 mana to get out an early Korvold. And it's also a big threat on the back end. And then 4 Casualties of War, really powerful card right now. Blows up one of basically everything and really kind of swings games. Mana base wise, pretty standard for a 3-color mana base. Of note, 2 Castles, very good for long grindy games. And then 3 Fabled Passage, which can trigger off Mayhem Devil to deal a point of damage. Sideboard wise, 4 Duress versus control-y based, counter-based matchups. Another Murderous Rider for like Nisa, stuff like that. 3 Lovestruck Beast versus aggro. Brontodon versus fires, as well as like the food mirrors. 2 Wicked Wolves versus the creature matchups. 2 Deathless Knights. So I'm imagining this is for longer, grindier games. Or counterspell decks. You can have it go to the graveyard. You gain a lot of life with the oven or the food token, so you can return it to your hand, so it's a recursive threat. Another Massacre Girl versus aggro, and another Korvold versus probably the mirror, I'm guessing. I've been playing mostly best of 1 with the deck just because it does tend to run a little bit longer. But what I'll do is I'll feature it in a best of 3, and then we'll play some best of 1s depending on how long it goes. So we'll take it from there. I've been kind of up and down. I've been playing with a few lists. So Gold Tier 2. I was playing some Historic with my Black White Soul Sisters deck. So ran into a lot of Nexus. Not crazy about Historic right now with all the Nexus going around. So we will play this. So as always, if you're tuning in for live, thanks for following on Twitch. If you're catching this on YouTube, the easiest way to show your support for the channel for free, it would be awesome if you could, is just hit that like button on the video. Subscribe on YouTube or follow on Twitch. All are free and easy ways. You can also drop a comment. Great to chat with you in any capacity, whether live on Twitch or on YouTube. And those are all ways to help out the channel for free. And finally, if you are purchasing any cards, I do have a affiliate link with TCG that I link in every video description. If you follow the link, make your purchase the same as you would. It just helps out the channel for free. Enough pandering. So this is a little bit of a risky keep. We have a 1-lander. I think we just get the goose out. So a little bit risky. Could be Rakdos aggro, like the Embercleave decks. That's probably not the worst. so we'll play the cat here. I'm going to play an oven, just get that going. Generates us a food each turn. Also can start giving us blockers if they have hasty things. So admittedly a bit of a loose keep. Also worth noting, since they have Angrath's Rampage, we'll probably want to keep an installation of another oven. Okay, so they're going to Murderous Rider here. Would have expected to draw a line by this point. Chipping away at their life total at least. They may just opt to go Murderous Rider here. So I'm going to do this in response because they'll get the triggers. If we don't draw a land... Okay, so we got our land. This kind of shuts off a lot of our ability to do stuff right now. Alright, well, we're not coming back from that. Too many turns not drawing mana. So in this matchup, Korvold's good. The Wicked Wolves are good. Probably Murderous Rider. Can probably go down the Beanstalks. We'll naturally grind it out to a longer game. Probably want to shift down a Brontodon. They have an oven, but that's probably it out of this deck. I think I'm okay otherwise. Run it like this. We have this for oven. This draws us cards. Really just want a little bit better. Obviously, we took a chance going one lander, but we had 3 1-drops with a goose on one. Had we drawn a land on 2, we could have played out the enchantment, got a food, used the goose to sack the food, use the mana to draw a card off it. Generally in this matchup, whoever lands Mayhem Devil will have an advantage, just being able to pick off stuff. We're quite high in top end. I think I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, sounds much better. Like, do they beat a wolf? Probably not. Just by keeping food out, we should be able to jam them. So there's a trick here. You can sack a food with the mana you get off the goose. You can pay 1 into it and then draw a card off Trail of Crumbs. So this is the priest version, so this is more Rakdos aristocrats. So you sack any food, this triggers, resolves. Here we get a land there. So no attacks here. I'm going to make another food token most likely. We have Wicked Wolf to fight. Probably the Priest. Okay. Second Priest obviously is not as good as the first. So we're just going to use this. They are going to be able to sacrifice the 2 and it gets rid of Argus. See if they go that line or just sack it with the Witch's Oven. Okay, they do that. So I kind of want to keep the Fabled Passage in case we draw a what's his name? Mayhem Devil. So we can protect this against pretty much everything except claim. Okay, so the Angrass Rampage. We're probably just going to draw cards this turn. Yeah, I think we're going to draw cards. I have double black, double green, 1 red. The deck's not too heavy on red, so probably just get another green source here. So sack, so we can get Oven going. Want to save the wolf for when they have a creature out. Korvold's very good. Claim of the Firstborns, only 3 CMC or less. So you make sure you go into full control mode. You target. So they do get to put a point of damage. They'll probably sack with the Mayhem Devil, the Witch's Oven. Oh, it's deciding what to do here. So we'll draw a card. Probably just a second Trail of Crumbs. So although they get to put another point of damage on us, I want a Risen Wolf trigger to resolve first. I'll take the Mayhem Devil here. So it's a really big stack. Basically what's happening is we're taking turns alternating between spells. We end up with a food token in the end and Korvold. for the next turn. So I think we just go Korvold this turn. We'll draw 2. Massacre Girl's probably not going to do too much, so let's go Cat here. So Cat can give us a blocker. We do need to get this off the table. So I'll probably drop this down to start shooting their things. This draws us another card. Gets us deeper to like a Murderous Rider. I think we've hit both our Wicked Wolves. Yeah. Okay, so they have the Bedevil. We'll do this. Trigger goes on the stack first so they can deal a point of damage, but then we get Cauldron Familiar to gain that life back, and then it blocks and saves us 3 life. So let's go Korvold, sack a land. Mayhem Devil. Sack a land. Okay, so we got casualties for next turn, which is nice. Get rid of a lot of their stuff, including the castle. So I opted not to shock there. Don't want to take the extra damage to get Trail of Crumbs in. We don't have the mana. I can pay a mana and draw a card off this Trail of Crumbs. I have 2 creatures to insulate. I'm gonna do this now. They can put 1 damage on the stack, but they don't get 2. Korvold also gets bigger. We draw 2 cards. I mean, like, double Mayhem Devil to follow it up after casualties is nice. They can sack the food to kill the goose. Cool. So opponent sees the writing on the wall there. Without being able to answer Korvold, they fall pretty far behind. Haven't seen too much to get the chain going for Massacre Girl. But we probably still want it. Like, they're playing Cat most likely. We can trigger it with our stuff. think the one Brontodon's still fine. Maybe shave a Massacre Girl. Go up Brontodon. It's a bulky 3-drop. Maybe wrong to not play the Beanstalk Giant, but I think fighting in this case is better with the Wicked Wolf. Okay, so we got Goose on 1. Just try to draw the game out to some casualties. Okay, so they got the cat. It's a bit annoying. If we can ever get to 6 mana, we're blowing up everything. This can gain us some life at least. We got the 4 color requirement. Okay, so we got Trail of Crumbs. That'll give us some card advantage. Obviously this hand would have been better with Goose. We might be too slow here. So I gain 3, draw a card. So gain 2 really. Okay, so we gotta do this now. I think we gotta go Murderous Rider. That's fine, it's not going to do too much for us. Hi. So what's the play here? If we Murderous Rider, we go down to 6. Okay, so let's see. We go down to 6. I gain 2 life. That goes to 8. We take 3. Think we're dead anyways. Fell a little too far behind here. Drawing obviously 3 casualties. Hurts. So we need Massacre Girl, which we shaved a copy of. Massacre Girl 1 time. Yeah, Casualties isn't going to do it. We need Massacre Girl specifically. Nope. We Casualties here. But it's not enough. Murderous Rider gains us 2. We take 4. Yeah. That sucks. That one was close. I'm gonna play some best of 1 with the deck. It generally goes long, so just gonna give Arena a quick reset. So for those tuning in, we are playing the MCQ winning Jund Sacrifice list. Went up against Rakdos Sacrifice there, Rakdos Aristocrats. Korvold won us game 2. Game 3 we drew all our casualties. and they out aggroed us before we could play. Core of the deck is kind of get a critical mass of food tokens with like Gilded Goose, Trail of Crumbs, draw a bunch of cards, Korvold, sack stuff, make a very, very large dino. I mean, like, we work for... Opponent goes first. We're on the draw. I think we mulligan this. Gonna put Korvold back. Massacre Girl's more likely to allow us to catch up. This is likely Grixis fires. Sultai. There's been a Sultai like ramp control deck that I've played a couple times today. Let's get a green source. Want to guarantee here. Ideally, they could have Death Sprout, most likely. They play Circuitous Root as well. You're basically getting Nissa out. Gonna get a forest here. Goose comes out. They shocked there and didn't play anything. Let's see if we can get something out of them with Trail of Crumbs. Okay, so they sabotage there. So it is like a Sultai kind of control-y deck. Or just Sultai mid-range. So hopefully this doesn't get countered. Double sabotage. Alright. If we got one of those down, it would have been really good in this matchup. Just it being a grindy... Just play a cat, and then I'm going to make a food token. Opponent's got 2 Massacre Girls, 2 Sabotages in the yard. I have a feeling today's going to be one of those days on stream. Played this deck this afternoon. I won 5 in a row. The like super aggressive Rakdos decks can sometimes be a bit problematic. Gonna try to throw down a Mayhem Devil here. They got Frilled Mystic. This one's an interesting one. They're quite far ahead on mana. Block here, conserve our life total. Cat's not doing much right now. You want to just kind of run him out of counters if possible. Double Frilled Mystic. Just make a food token here is my guess. Us not having red mana, they're going to get Sabotage back and then lock us out. So it's basically like a ramp control deck. Pretty much lost this one now, I think. This might invoke the Sabotage to come down. Yeah. Basically want to force the counters out of their hands so then I could Casualties. Take him off a Mystic, the Vantress, Tameo, and the food. Or Nisa. Yeah, this one. We're not coming back after that. They're going to have too many creatures. This deck's good. They've won an MCQ. It's quite fun to play when it gets going and just a little off. You do sometimes get these hands that are quite clunky. It's more of a synergy deck. So I'm going to go tap land on 1. If we don't draw a 4th land, then I'll go Fabled Passage on 2. Opponent's taking their time. Since we don't really have anything to use the oven for, I'm just going to be conservative. So here I'm going to go like this. Opponent's getting salty. Probably want a second green source here. We got the double green. Purposely want to play slow now. So I'm actually just going to take a chance to get ahead on mana. I'm going to get another black source since our red source is there. It's some sort of red-based deck. The fact the opponent hasn't committed pressure in the first 2 turns bodes pretty well. Okay, they just stomp us here. So we have a couple options here. I could just Brontodon, but I think I'm gonna Murderous Rider. We take 2 points of damage, but I was hoping for a land there, so we could have cast the Trail of Crumbs and a 3-drop. Alright, so that's much worse. So we're going to take some damage this turn. Take quite a bit of damage. Mana has not been kind to us today. Gonna offer the trade here. They are at the point where just like Embercleave kills us if they have another land. We're just never going to draw a land this game. That's cool. Literally any burn spell, anything with haste gets us. We'll take the life there, puts us up. Okay, so they have Frenzy. Land lets us Mayhem Devil. Oh, that's actually really good. So with Mayhem Devil we can block. We also want to wait for them to do something, then sack, so they can't respond and shoot us. It's 4 damage. So we gotta do this now. Basically just holding on. Fervent does it. Obviously would have liked if the sequencing was a bit different there, but they had Fervent into Fervent, which would have been enough. Ay, ay, ay. Let's run one more. It's a couple games now where just mana hasn't been kind to us. This feels like a trap hand. Okay, sounds good. Let's put back these. I'm actually going to put back a forest. We have more double black. Bloodfell Caves. You want to keep pretty much any hand with Goose into Trail of Crumbs. This could be Rakdos Sacrifice, can be a budget mana base of Fires, but looks like just Rakdos aggro. I'm just gonna go Goose here. Just gonna sack, do the same thing again. They spend their whole turn. You know what? Let's kind of incentivize them here not to commit more. Just want to draw some more cards. Let's get Mayhem Devil. So let's get the red source. Oh, that taps so bad. I messed that up. I wanted to make a food token with it. No pumps. Interesting. So they go Murderous Rider here. That's fine. We can't kill it anyways with the sack, so doesn't make much sense. If we had the extra food, we could have potentially. So there's a trick we can do. Okay, spawn comes down. So it's... Okay, so we can wipe their board with priority on the stack with Massacre Girl. We can sack, so I have the mana, so let's do this. Let me draw a card first. I'll just take a Stomping Ground, hoping for a bit more action. So go into full control. So first trigger down. You sack this. Oh wait, shit. Ah! I had to wait for the trigger to go on the stack first. I misclicked the trigger. So basically what you should have done there is first trigger goes on the stack. They get -1/1, and then you sack it and it gets -2/2, and then it would cycle through all of their creatures and we would have come out ahead. That was punt, punt, punt. This is going to be an aggressive match, so I'll lead like this, get Trail of Crumbs. Admittedly a bit slower of a start from them. They have a plethora of 1-drops. Because they could technically just like Embercleave and kill us. Okay. Kill that. So a second Murderous Rider. Just gonna do this. And then I think we just Rider. Flash and Paragon. So because, okay, so you have to put the Embercleave on. Probably dead, but we can at least. Actually, I could Brontodon and block. So I can block and then sack the Embercleave. And then if we draw another land, okay, they just go Oathsworn Knight. Ah, wanted the casualties there. Let's just get a Murderous Rider. It gives us lifelink. So we probably take them off of the Godless Shrine because we can't fully take them off red. Actually, we probably take them off of red because they can't Embercleave number 2. This puts a token or a counter off it. Come on. We're literally one land away. Hopefully a Storm Fist. Even with that, we couldn't draw it. So block here, block here. I'm forced to block here. So block. If they have another Embercleave, we're dead. Thanks for the follow, Bossum999. Gonna use it to draw a card. Just get the forest. Still like really dead here. Okay, so I can do you. Kind of priced into, so let's see, so I block here, I gain 2. Cauldron Familiar blocks here. So this blocks here, I gain 2. I take 4. So that nets out. Cauldron Familiar puts me up 1. I block one of these. Yeah, calm your horses. Okay, this can gain us a bunch of life. I didn't mean to auto tap there. I think we're still dead. If they have black lines, yeah. Aye. Not a good showing. Just gonna give Arena a quick reset, and then we'll run it through some more. Thanks for all those tuning in off the Magic Coast. We are playing some of the MCQ winning Jund Sacrifice. Despite my errors, it is a very good deck. It is a little difficult to navigate. I probably wouldn't suggest it for a newer player. The lines are a little bit intricate. I've been playing best of 1 just for speed. Keep this hand. Pretty much want to keep hand going goose into Trail of Crumbs. Gets you a card advantage there. Okay, so this is Cavalcade. So if they have like something like Chandra next turn, it's really bad for us. Mayhem Devil's great here. So this is interesting because I want black mana, but I want this to sacrifice, so I think we gotta lead Castle here. Actually, I could have just played this, sacked that. It's fine, this blocks for now. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate the support. I am butchering this deck. So hopefully this is just like some sort of 1-drop. Okay, so they have the Spitfire. Spitfire is scary. So I think what we do, sack the food here. Just make sure I did for black mana. Take out the torch carrier. That's one less trigger off Chandra's Spitfire. It also lets us get a cat into play, which gains us a life. Next turn, depending if they do a 1-drop, I do Brontodon, sack it to deal with the Cavalcade, which kind of nullifies the effectiveness of Spitfire. So it's actually not bad. I gotta shock myself here. Let's attack first. So the trick decision here is, do I shock myself or just fetch? This is a removal. I think preserving my life total is important here. So we're doing this before they get the attack triggers, because 2 triggers would go on the stack. And then these would get a bunch of power. Guess what I could have done was attack with Cauldron Familiar. Play the land if they blocked and Brontodon, and that could have killed one. There's a lot of little lines this deck. Okay, so Torbrand's terrifying. Okay. So let's see, I got... This makes a food. I can sack the food. So I can sack the food, gain 3 life, deal the damage, sack the familiar, and then take out another Spitfire. Can do that all at instant speed. This also potentially holds back Torbrand. So do this, sack the food, trigger here, sack familiar, if you like puzzles, this deck's like very much a deck that has a lot of interesting lines. So we net up only taking 1 damage that turn. Actually, no damage because we got it off the familiar. Oh, second one is good. That lets us pick off some of these. So we'll wait till the combat step to get rid of those. Let's just block like this. Sack here, trigger, trigger. That's also, actually, let's wait on that because I can do it on their turn and then kill this. deals a damage, that deals 4 damage. I might just gain the life here. Let's get rid of Torbran. Shuts off a lot of the utility out of the deck. Cool. Cool, cool. That one was sweet. Finally getting a win. Let's go one more. If you tune in at any part, we've been going for about an hour now. I'll have this video up on YouTube tomorrow. We've been playing pretty much all the top MCQ decks over the last couple days. So I've got like the As a Flash deck, Menguchi's ramp deck, those are all on. It's a very good hand. These 3 cards in combination is where you want to be at. Mana base is a little painful. This is probably a deck, yeah. It's a deck you want to play like off stream probably, where you can take time to think out each line of play. Your sequencing, you do have to do like full control quite a bit. So the kind of interaction here is Gilded Goose can sack this food token and use that mana it sacrifices it to draw a card. Like nothing's better than Mayhem Devil for our hands, so let's maybe make them make a choice here. Just something that's a non-creature. This is likely Grixis Fires. Yeah, it's definitely Fires. Question here is, do we just take the card draw? I think we just go like this and say go. Have them make a play. No Narset this turn's pretty good. Okay, another Goose. I'm gonna wait on the card draw just in case they have Thought Erasure. Gonna want to do that afterwards. Just dump my hand. This is a hell of an engine. Okay, so they have the Fires. So here we want to obviously see a Brontodon. Another Trail of Crumbs isn't too bad. This is the part of the game though. Not gonna do too much. We didn't put enough pressure on them, and they're going to be able to go like Nico Bolas now and destroy our hand. If they uptick, get rid of this land. Actually, no, I think we got to keep the land and then try to get a Casualties of War. That's our catch-up mechanic. If you just hover, Doug, on the right hand corner here, there's a little widget, and then it'll show you the Aether Hub deck list. Otherwise, it's identical to Karsten's winning list from the MCQ. So they have a Bolas on the side. Guess they're doing 3 bolus side and then 1 to find it. You can get rid of the oven. So we'll get another block source. Can only draw 1 here. Are you kidding me? There's literally 4 cards in our deck we can't get off that. Yeah, the only thing I needed was the Korvolds. It actually plays 3. There's another Korvold in the sideboard for the mirror match styles. We have all our lands, so we can get rid of the Stomping Ground. They're playing Cavaliers now in this deck. I miss the old Grixis Fires, the slow Grixis Fires. So obviously Casualties would have been huge there. Casualties still gets us a nice way there. 2 are at the bottom of our library. And now I'm naturally... Okay, Murderous Rider's a thing. Korvold. Also something. So good. So good. Planeswalker, land, enchantment, creature. Buy Cavalier, buy Fires. They only have 1 blue source, so I'm actually going to get rid of that. That turns off Narset. It turns off... They can still play Nicol Bolas. They can't hardcast Red Cavalier here. I doubt they're playing Blue Cavalier, just based on the Grixis. Like, Grixis decks are typically black-red with just a tiny splash of blue, just to hit the Bolas. And how this deck's constructed, I would probably... I'm unsure if they're even playing Narset. Okay, so they shock, drawn from dreams. They poke us for 1. I may opt to just hold up Murderous Rider this turn. And then sack this, draw a card. Hey, Parvirus. Sorry if I'm butchering that. How's it going today? Thanks for stopping by. So we're jamming a bunch of best of 1 games with this Jund Sacrifice. Nice. Welcome back to Cardboard Crack or Digital Crack, whichever medium you're playing in. Yeah, I've been playing pretty much all Arena myself. If they don't commit more to the board, I'm just going to crack this and draw 2 cards. They might just have... I wouldn't say Cardboard's getting phased out. Pioneer is incredibly popular at my LGS. Okay, so we got the oven going for life gain. So let's see. So you're 3. No, I can't do you this turn. You know what? I sequenced that wrong. I should have gone Oven first. Yeah, I was similar when I moved. So I'm in Toronto, but I moved to like other side of the city. And I typically just don't get out as much as I once did. So sequencing was wrong there. I should have led with the Oven and then Familiar, because with the removal trigger on the stack. If they want to return this to hand, they can. Because we don't really want to hit Bonecrusher Giant. It deals 4 damage to us. My guess is they're taking Korvold here. They take the Trail of Crumbs. Okay, I guess their hand's just like all removal. They go Bolus here. Get rid of the Massacre Girl. Second cat's not bad. So let's go cat. Korvold. Sack the cat. Looking for another casualties here. Probably going to Beanstalk to shuffle as well. So here, if they bolus down on Korvold, we sack it to get 2 foods. I can probably forego black mana here. This suggests to me they have removal. We need these. We casualties them once. Can we do it again? They do have Bonecrusher as well. Okay, the Bonecrusher here. Interesting. Goose is actually a pretty good draw there. What it lets us do is, okay, so they Murderous Rider. Let's sack here. Get the draw card. So I want to shuffle my library here. And then let's just play Murderous Rider. Block here, gain 2 life, put it back into our library. They can also down tick here, but I have these cats that can just block this Bonecrusher for quite a while. Go Fae of Wishes Ungranted. They're at the point where they can hard cast their spells just with the color requirement. Taking out that fires was timely. Leyline of a Void. You got it. Bye-bye cat combo. So the oven becomes a little less useful. Here. It's probably just a land again. This bolus is killing us attrition wise. And like we have to put some pressure on it. Otherwise we just lose. Here I can't really do much this turn and I kind of want to draw cards, so let's just go my turn. Doesn't matter, let's draw a card. Trying to draw into Murderous Rider. Okay, Korvold's a thing. Korvold could buy us a turn. It does also force... I'm gonna get rid of the Witch's Oven here. Okay, another Trail of Crumbs. Gonna wait for them to respond. $29 cards, there's 3 Casualties of War. Needs to get this ley line off the table. Beanstalk Giant in this matchup's not really good. Perfect. That's what we needed. So we're going to lose the card draw off Trail of Crumbs, but we get another chance at the Casualties of War, which we drew. Okay, we might be able to get out of this one. Opponent's got near infinite mana. Okay, they got fires. Yeah, so we still, I think, want to take out the fires. You have to respect this card. Planeswalker, land, enchantment, creature. Probably could get rid of Bone Crusher here. Fires, get rid of the card draw. We're going to take 2 points of damage. Just going to gain some life here. And then play out Trail of Crumbs. Because they have Leyline out, I don't really want another bolus. Just get rid of the mountain. How many things exiled? This game's a good game. I still have some basic forests in the deck. So I'm just going to do this now in case we draw casualties. I forgot that doesn't get per. So Murderous Rider's not bad. Take this out here. Let's go Swift Ends half. Let's go Shuffle. Play the Adventure half. I think I'm just going to make a food token. It gets us some card draw next turn. Also gives us something with these Murderous Riders to sack. Again, just doing this solely for the life gain. They can bounce it back to hand. But without fires, a lot of their board wipes are contingent on white. They also can't Casualties of War. So what they do, Blood Crypt and Ingress. That does turn off our life gain. If they Ritualist Soot, I can just sacrifice. The play to get ley line was very smart by our opponent. So they go Granted. They may have another Ritual Soot. They usually keep all the fires in the main board. Liliana. Okay, it's a clock. Obviously, we want to see casualties. Okay, so it's actually a pretty good draw for us. Two sacrifices, so we take out this. They do get a card draw. Now, can we just win? 2, 3, 4. Sack this. 5. Sack something else. So sack the. So 2, 4. Each sack counts as 6, 8. No, probably not enough. Let's take out Liliana. So let's go sacrifice. We'll draw 3. Brontodon, cat, goose, and then we're gonna lose the cat, but it takes out Liliana, which they've gotten pretty desperate at this point. They're faying just to stay alive. Let's just do this for a food token. I'm not going to commit this in case they have Ritual of Soot. We're at 22 cards. We're at 17. So we've outdrawn the blue deck. That was an awesome game. That was an awesome game. Alright, I've been going for about an hour and a half with this deck. I usually do 45-minute videos, but this one has been a fun one to play. So I'm going to wrap this up. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Magic, for the host. If you missed any part of this or any of my content, everything I play on live on the channel is on my YouTube channel, MTG_Joe. If you want to see a bunch of the other MCQ decks similar to this one that won, I've put a bunch on from the weekend. You can check them out there. And as always, if there's any requests you'd like to see, just drop a comment on YouTube. I try to play as many requested decks as possible, and we can go from there. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Have a great evening or day, depending where you are in the world.